Well, you've been in this league 5 years, and this is the third time that you've gone down to the wire in contention for the league title. You mentioned 2015. That team was in contention, ended up tying for the West, but the loss to Houston was the difference why you didn't go to the championship. Then you went to the championship, and now, so 3 out of 5 years, that's a pretty good percentage rate. Can you talk about that, Coach?
Well, obviously it's a credit to our young men and everybody involved with our program. And it's hard to do. And I'm proud of our guys this year. They played really well, and they've put themselves in this position to do that. And we just got to make sure we finish. Good and bad today to practice. We've been practicing, I thought, really well as a team, but today there were some things there that didn't really like too much. But I think we'll bounce back tomorrow. But it's a credit to these young men, Lex.
What happened last season was it gave the naysayers that didn't think Navy should have joined a conference an opening to try to say we can't compete in this conference. But bouncing back this year and being in contention for the West proves that you can. And there's also a lot of benefits when you are good in this conference. You beat SMU and you got right back in the rankings because people respect when you beat a team like SMU. Can you talk about that, Coach?
Yeah, I think being in this league's been good for us. And, you can't please everybody. Everybody's got an opinion, which is fine. We just had to do what we felt was right for our program, and just felt being in this league would help us get some notoriety, the level of competition. It forces everybody to raise their game, and that's what we wanted to do. I mean, you can make your schedule however you want to try to, get W's, but we want to compete. It's what this school is about, trying to win and be excellent in all things. But the thing that I've been most proud about is just we've been able to be successful. We haven't lowered the standard of our school. Our kids graduate at a high level, and our GPAs, for our team has been as high as it's been since I've been here. So, there are a lot of good things happening. It's a credit to the staff here, and this is the way we wanted. We wanted to play at this level, but we got to finish the season that's over.
Well, but as opposed to being an independent, when you are successful in this league, you get national relevance. If you're at the top of the AAC, you're in contention, talking about big bowl games and other national rankings, CFP, etc.
No, exactly. I mean, it definitely helps us in recruiting. We feel like it's been good to us. We can't worry about what everybody thinks, and you just got to do what you feel is right. And we're human though. Sometimes you make decisions that aren't right, but we talked about it a long time before we went into the league, and we just felt like it was the right direction for us.
Coach Newberry was named as for the Broyles Award today. What can you say about him? I know you said you've been so pleased with him, but you talk so much about your guys bouncing back week to week, especially coming back and doing that against SMU after the Notre Dame game. What can you talk about kind of his resilience?
Well, the thing that I've been impressed with him is his humility too. Like as we talked as a staff, he talked about all the things that he did wrong, in the Notre Dame game. He didn't, before he even talked about the kids, he talked about I should have did this, I should have done that, didn't do this, didn't do that. And to me, that's the sign of a great leader. Obviously we had to play better, but he started off with himself, game planning, how he could have had a better plan. And just when he said that, I mean, I've known he's the right man, but more and more of those kind of experiences just solidifies what I've known about him, that he's a phenomenal leader. Doesn't surprise me that he's been named for this because what he's done has been amazing. I said this today, and I really believe this. I mean, Malcolm Perry and Brian Newberry are the reasons where we're at this year. I mean, those two guys have changed our football program. I mean, they've been awesome this year.
You talk about how you kind of found him and discovered where he was, but does it feel like you found almost like a hidden gem? Like, I don't know how many people were saying Brian Newberry's name last year, but you got him.
But it makes me nervous because I know people are going to come after him.
Chirping.
I know they're going to come after him.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a really, really good football coach. And people just, you just look at the numbers. I mean, like, wait a minute, they went from this to this. Oh, they got a new coordinator. And you just watch us play. A lot of our same kids, and what he's done has been remarkable.
Buy him an extra nice Christmas present, keep him around.
Well, we got to either sell maybe, the secretary and, get some upper brass to come to the game, and maybe we can sell one of our destroyers and get him a retirement or something. The amount of money that people are paying guys now, I mean, he's going to be highly sought after.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask you about Jake Springer and just how he's been able to take to this new defense really well. It seems like he kind of describes it as he has an easy job. If everybody else in front of him does what's supposed to, he gets to make the play. But I guess what about his athleticism or him taking to this new defense do you notice most of all, do you think?
Well, Coach Newberry knew that he needed somebody, good player at that position because it's a critical position in our defense to make plays. He's got great, football instincts, great football IQ. We've had to work on him on his pad level and some technical stuff and effort level, but he's a great kid. He's a really, really good football player, smart. But we're always going to be on him. We're always going to try to, perfect his craft. Just start with Malcolm and any of our other players, Cooper, CJ, all of our good players, Pittman. But I've been pleased with him. He's done a really good job. He's made a ton of plays, and these last couple games, hopefully, continue to make a lot of plays because it's part of the defense. It's structured that way, so we want to make sure we had a smart guy in there that can do a lot of different things. He's physical. He's smart. He can cover. Can play against the run. He's got a lot of versatility to him.
Back on the championship, the game this weekend, the one oddity is this whole situation with the Memphis-Cincinnati. Your guys are going to know when they wake up Saturday morning whether they can win the West or not. Are you worried about how that might impact their focus? I mean, you don't want them to be let down that, no, we can't win the West even if we beat Houston because Memphis is going. How do you address that?
Well, we just tell guys, control what you can control. I mean, it's the same, cliche coaches, and we can't worry about that. All we can do is play our best against Houston. If it works out, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. If we have to address it, we will. But our focus is all on Houston right now.
And then I haven't had a chance to ask you. The Department of Defense came out with an order that said that the Service Academy athletes can now go pro. What is your thoughts on that?
It's a great time to be in Navy football. I mean, for all the academies, it's academics are great. Playing football at a high level, you got a chance if you're drafted, to go to the NFL. And I never thought this day would come, and never anticipated, nor that we lobby for it. It's just if it happened, it happened, and it's exciting.
Would it be fair to say that you have a candidate? And we've talked about this before. It's not like it's very often that you have NFL caliber players, but do you think you have one this year?
I think so. I'm just a college football coach. I think we do, but we'll let them make that decision.
All right, well, he's been invited to the East-West Shrine game, which usually means an NFL scout has told the game organizers, the bowl organizers, they want to see him. Obviously, he'd probably have to do like Keenan did and switch to a different position. But, he's a dynamic guy. I think about Julian Edelman, and I think Malcolm could do something similar.
Well, I definitely feel like he's a good player, And so but I'll leave that up to them. But just look at his body of work. He's a really good football player.
And I was looking recently at Malcolm has basically put himself in the upper echelon of Navy football players. If you look at the numbers, he's up there with Napoleon McCallum and Keenan Reynolds and some of the all-time greats. He's fifth in rushing, fifth in touchdowns. Can you talk about that? And that's didn't hardly play much as a freshman and has kind of bounced around his next 2 years between two positions.
Well, he's obviously a great football player. But I know this kid. He's such a humble kid. He's not finished yet, and we'll talk about it at the end of the year. But right now, he's playing awesome for us.
Well, I was just looking over the weekend at where Malcolm ranks in a lot of categories. He's fifth all-time at Navy in rushing, or actually he's third in rushing. He's up there in total touchdowns. He's basically, if you look at like 8 or 9 categories, he constantly has his name up there with guys like Napoleon McCallum and Eddie Myers and Keenan Reynolds. Can you talk about that?
Well, it's him. It's Malcolm. He's a great football player. The ball in his hands, he's very dynamic. So a lot of what he does is him. I'm not taking credit for any of it. As far as the coaching part of it, the long runs he's made, the versing field plays he's made and scoring touchdowns. That's all just athleticism and him being a great football player. So I'm happy for him because he's worked hard. He's persevered through a lot. And dealt with me a lot. So I'm happy for him.
Is there a way to describe kind of why he's such a dynamic runner? He does some things that are hard to quite realize how he does them. I've never seen anyone change direction at full speed like he does, and his ability to do this little hop step that he does.
Well, there's a deal that I heard before that I'm pretty sure as a young kid, Malcolm played tag. He was never it. You know, and that's just natural ability. You know, it's something that you can't coach. Stop. He did one this past weekend where he jump, stop, and cut. That was very impressive. So, but that's what he's all about. And he thrives on that. He thrives making people miss. It's kind of his deal. It's his trademark, his personality. So, again, he's a great football player. And a lot of what he does, you can coach. And it makes us look good as coaches and good as play callers, and we're taking it.
Well, and we all know this because we've seen him get hit and come out of the game and go back in the game. But I saw one of these meet the mids, and several of the guys said, "Who's the toughest football player at Navy?" And they say Malcolm Perry.
That is one thing that you don't see. He's a very, very, very tough kid. Very tough kid. He plays through pain. He never complains. Coach, I'm fine. I'm good. He'll shake it off and get back in the game. So, and that's something again that you don't see as a fan, but as coaches, we understand that. If there's a big play or he needs to step up, he's going to do it, regardless of how his body feels. He always says, "Coach, I'm fine." When I know his legs are probably feels like rubber, he'll say, "Coach, I'm good." Put him back in the game. So that's something that again, that's just to him and his toughness, his upbringing. Being a military kid. So and we're just happy to have him on our football team.
And he's been selected for the East-West Shrine Game, which is a great honor. And I think you and I both know you usually get picked for those games because an NFL scout has told the organizers, "We'd like to see this kid in that setting." Now that they've opened the door, do you think this kid has a chance to be? I got to figure somebody's going to take a look at him.
He has a skill set. That's not even a question. It's a matter of getting the opportunity, and him going out there and improving it. He has that speed, the agility. The playmaking ability that people are looking for. So when opportunity comes for him, I'm pretty sure he's going to take full advantage of it.
Well, I was looking this over the weekend. You're really moving up the charts as far as Navy's all-time record board for a lot of different categories. Is that kind of amazing to you when you start to realize that you're third all-time leading rusher behind Napoleon McCallum, Keenan Reynolds, your third all-time touchdown, or whatever it is?
I haven't really thought about it yet, to be honest. It's awesome, of course, hearing about it, but it hasn't really hit me yet, the magnitude of it. But yeah, I'm extremely grateful for the coaches and my teammates who helped me get to that point. So.
Would you be proud to know? I mean, I believe this is going to be the case, but you proud to know that you're going to go down as one of the all-time greats here? A lot of history with this program.
That's definitely something that's not crossed my mind yet. Just thinking about the rest of the season and let that happen after the season. So.
Right. I haven't had a chance to ask you, but you've been selected for the East-West Shrine Game. That's a very big deal. That's a big game. Can you talk about, if you're looking forward to that experience?
Yeah, of course. That's something I'm excited about, looking forward to after we finish up here with the rest of our schedule. It's a great opportunity. I couldn't say no to it. And exactly. I'm excited about it, so looking forward to it.
Well, I've been covering long enough to know that usually people that get picked for those type of all-star games, the Senior Bowl, or the East-West Shrine Game, that's because NFL scouts have told the game organizers they'd like to see this guy. I know NFL scouts have been to see you, or have scouted you. Would you love to have a chance to prove yourself at that level?
Yeah, of course. As a kid growing up, that's something that, I fantasized about. So having that opportunity would be wonderful for me. But, of course, I got the military obligations. If that doesn't happen, I'm happy where I'm at. So.
Right. Well, the Department of Defense just did issue that order, which you have to know about, that opens the door for Service Academy athletes to turn pro. What do you think of that?
I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity. Like I said, that's something that I've dreamed about as a kid. And for the timing to line up with my senior year, I'm just extremely grateful for the opportunity.
One oddity about that order, though, it says that they wouldn't commission if you were going to try to turn pro in a sport, they wouldn't commission. I think you want to be commissioned. You didn't go here 4 years to not get commissioned as an officer, right?
Right. You understand that coming in, that's the main focus. Is this school develops officers to go out and lead sailors and Marines, and I understand that, and I know that, and that's something that I'm looking forward to doing. So definitely looking forward to that.
So why did you choose the Marine Corps? I mean, you're a really smart guy. I could see you commanding a ship, or like Keenan Reynolds did cryptological warfare. Why did you choose the Marine Corps?
Just the guys I was around when I went in my summer trainings. I just fit in more with those guys. Nothing against Woe. That was actually my second choice. And, I have a lot of respect for those guys. But just being around the Marines, and I love what they do. So that's what I chose.
So Keenan Reynolds was at the game on Saturday. I don't know if you happened to run into him in the locker room or afterwards, but he's very complimentary of you. He thinks the world of your abilities, but he is a great quarterback at Navy who had to play a different position in the NFL. If given an opportunity in the pros and told you got to be a slot back or a slot receiver or whatever, could you? I mean, you've proven that you can play another position other than quarterback.
Right. I mean, that's you know, I had no aspirations to go play quarterback in the NFL by any means. So I think it's pretty understood that if I were to get the opportunity, it would be at slot back or
Slot
some
receiver.
form of that,
Yeah.
some form of that
Okay.
position.
I think it's long overdue that I put the spotlight on the slot backs a little bit because you guys have all been playing well, making big plays, the whole core of you. Can you just talk about that? I mean, every time we turn around, there's a big catch or a big run. And I was talking to Coach Niemot a few weeks ago. At one point, 2K and Taz were both averaging like 10 yards a carry.
Yeah, I mean, that's just our slogan in the AVAC room, A's make plays. You know, we got to try to electrify the offense, so we just try to do that every game. Just whenever we need one, just go ahead and make a play.
So you talk about the pride. I mean, nobody cares who gets the ball and makes the play. You're probably just as happy to block for Taz or 2K as you are to handle the ball yourself, right?
Right, we can all do it both, so we like to spread it around a lot. You know, we always talk about who's going to score this week, try to get them in the end zone, so it's a good feeling. We like to spread it around a lot.
So, I mean, do you think this has been one of the better slot back cores? Because you got all the guys I mentioned, plus Miles Fells has contributed. You know, Travis Brandon's is scooping up a onside kick. Did you see that on film, by the way?
I did.
He went and got that ball.
Yeah, he went and got it.
But this has been a good group, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of diversity, a lot of people that can do a lot of the same things and a lot of different things. We all bring something different and a lot of the same things to the table. So I think it's a good core to have.
So you bring great pass receiving. You run great routes, and I always amazed a guy your size. It seems like you're always climbing the ladder or reaching high. You had that again this week. I think you had to put the hands up high to catch a pass. What is it about you that you somehow, some way, you come down with that ball?
That just goes back to us making plays. Just whenever we need a play, we're gonna go make a play. We do whatever we can to make a play and electrify the offense, get the offense going when we need to. Yeah.
I was just telling CJ, I think I need to put the spotlight on slots because you guys are all playing so well, and the unit as a whole is doing great things. Can you just talk about that?
In the A-bag room, we always preach A's make plays. So we go out there, we do our thing, we take care of business, and I showed on Saturday.
When you never know when you're going to get a pitch. I mean, it's just with a triple option, you never know when that pitch is coming. Malcolm might keep it, he might dish it to you, but it's you guys to have an unbelievable ability to turn almost every pitch you get into a big gain. I mean, I looked at one point you and Taz were both averaging like 10 yards a carry. Well, can you talk about that? Just the pressure to perform on. I mean, when they finally do pitch it to you, they expect you to make it a big play.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Niemot always tells us to keep our eyes right. Our eyes always has to be on the ball. So when we're in motion, we just keep our eye on the ball, expect the pitch all the time, and then just trust the front side A-back as he on the block outside. So.
Well, now, as I was telling CJ, I mean, you all don't care who ends up with the ball. You can't predict it. You never know. But you're just as willing to block for your fellow slot as you are to carry it yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, it's a selfless thing that we have in the A-back group. I feel like it carries out through the whole offense. Like, it doesn't matter who has the ball, and we ride or die for each other. So, blocking is no issue. Whoever has the ball, I mean, we're gonna take care of them.
So one thing I found is there's a lot of times Malcolm delivers some crazy pitches. He'll wait to the last second, and sometimes the pitch is here, there. I mean, you guys have to. It's a hot potato, and you got to handle it. I mean, nobody. If you drop it and fumble, they're on you too. Even if the pitch was, maybe not the perfect pitch.
Mm-hmm. Like Coach Niemot says, keep your eyes right, and that's what we do. So, yeah.
And that's something I guess you just have all the reps in practice. You get used to fielding pitches from different angles, etc.
Yeah, exactly.